Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tarda Zone Talks. It seems like an age since we done our last live stream, but we're here, new week, and we're here to talk about the guy behind the anti-Noel Clarke campaign, the hashtag No Justice for Noel Clarke. Now, before we start the video, or before we get into it, I just want to point out that I have censored this guy's name from all of the stuff that I'm about to show you. Now, the reason for that is because I know they'll be watching and they'll be waiting for an opportunity to try and report this stream and get others to report the stream and have it taken down. Now, the guy apparently has protected his Twitter account because he'd obviously seen me tweet about me doing an expose on him. So he's gone into hiding, and he probably has loads of people, or he is trying to convince loads of people to report this stream. So for the purposes of this stream, I have censored his name. I would ask people in the chat also not to mention his name. You can mention the fact that he is behind the hashtag. Some of you have seen him on Twitter. But please try not to mention his name or say anything nasty about this guy, because this guy is one of the biggest victim players that I've ever came across in the fandom, and there's quite a few, so we have to be careful. So I have censored his name, and I have censored the names of other people that we don't know. The only names that you'll see are from people that we directly know. Okay, so in response to some of the messages that people that we know have put up, and then his retweet of those. But his name is censored, as I said. We're not going to bring his name up. This is not a hate stream. This is to show you how much of a hypocrite this guy actually is. And we've got a member in the chat in Raymond O'Reilly. He says, hi lads, welcome Raymond, nice to see you. We've got JWC Reviews in the chat as well, and we've got the Scottish Davros and Friends Wrestle with Pop Culture, the legend himself. Welcome, nice to see you all. And if any more people come in, obviously I will give you an shout out there, but it's nice to see us. I know it's an afternoon stream, but I said, there's no time like the present to do this. So I'm going to start off with this little whopper of a message, because I think this is going to set the tone for the whole stream, to prove how much of a hypocrite this guy is. Now, to give you a little bit of a background to this guy, he supports Ukraine. I do as well. I want to make that clear. Now, I know there's stuff out there that people think that we shouldn't support Ukraine, but I do, right? I just don't make a big song and dance about it like he does. This guy is also a supporter of Black Lives Matter. Any hashtag Me Too, all of that, right? This guy calls Doctor Who fans, not my doctors, bigots, misogynists, racists, homophobes, transphobes, all of the things that you can think of, right? So he's the common person on Twitter that we see a lot of, especially from the left. Okay, so I would say, by looking at his tweets and looking what he throws out, he's definitely left-winged, in my opinion, right? By just looking at his tweets. right? Now he could be something different. He could be centralist, but if you look at his tweets, he looks like he's left-sided. So, with all of that said, and remember, keep that all in mind when I show you this first screen shot, right? So he's all of those, right? Hashtag me too, all of that. BLM, supporter of Ukraine, anti-Trump, right? Pro-Biden, all of that, right? And I don't care, by the way. I don't give a shit whether you're pro or anti-Trump. Don't give a crap, right? Never have, never will. You know what I mean? That country, you know, is a mess anyway, and it needs to sort itself out. That's as far as I'll go on that. So take that all into account when I show you this, right? Because this is very, this force. This fourth screenshot will show you how much of a hypocrite this person actually is, right? So, you know our good friend Problem Bing. And you all know that Problem Bing is Jewish, okay? So there he is, this guy behind the hashtag No Justice for Noel Clarke, sending Problem Bing a bad German gift. All because Lee doesn't like the current era of Doctor Who. And because of Lee's other opinions on Twitter. Right? So this is a guy that talks about inclusivity, you know, all of this other nonsense, and then sends Problem Being an anti-Semitic post. Now, I'm sick and tired of our side of the fandom being picked on because we didn't like the current era, being called all these disgusting things, including the nasty German word that they like to use. And I'm not going to use that word on this channel. I used to say the word like a lot of other people, but at the end of the day, it is disrespectful word to use, especially when we know what happened to 6 million people. So, you know, at the very start, when I start running this channel, I was calling them the bigots because of the way they were treating us and the bad German word. But I stopped using it. Stopped using it a long time ago, like a lot of people, because it's disrespectful. But this fella, to send a Jewish guy that gif tells you everything you need to know about this guy. This guy is a hypocrite, right? This guy is also, right, was also the guy, like a lot of other people, that were calling for the cancellation of John Barrowman. Now, again, you know, he's pro LGBTQ+. There seems to be a bit of a trend here, right? I won't say it, right? You all know what I'm thinking. You know, he seems to have it in for Noel Clarke, even though, which we'll get into, even though we already know that there was no investigation, no alleged crime was reported to the police, verified by 4 other detectives, by the way. Yeah, but we'll get into all of that in a minute. But this is absolutely disgusting. And I just wanted to show you that first because this is what this guy is. He's a hypocrite, right? Now, he's tried to get his campaign going, but nobody seems to be engaging with him. And that is because the police have come out and said there will be no investigation. You know, the law of the land. But you will see that this guy here, right, doesn't care about the law, right? He doesn't care that the law of the land has deemed Noel Clarke to be innocent. He believes the media over the law of the land. The media who have nothing to do with law and order, in the UK. Okay. We got Chris Persia, our head mod, in the chat. Welcome. Welcome. Right. So we will continue, and I'll remove that. So I just wanted to show you those two first, because I thought that was, it was relevant to this whole topic of conversation, to show how much a hypocrite this person actually is, and I tell you, just just looking at some of the stuff that I have here, I'm just looking now, unbelievable. But let's get into this whole his obsession with Noel Clarke. So there is a particular one that I want to start off with. I think it's this one here. Yeah. So he puts up this tweet, and again, I just want to thank, even though, look, there are a few people on Twitter. You know who you are. I won't mention this because I don't want anything, as I said, you know what social media is like. But there is people out there that have provided these screenshots to me. So I was able to do this. Now, I could sit here all day, and I mean literally all day with you guys, and I could show you every single screenshot and tweet by this person. But of course, if I did that, we would be here all day. Now, if you still follow us on Twitter, and you follow some of the other accounts that we follow on Twitter, you will see that these screenshots are up there for everybody to see. So you can go and check them out yourself. Okay, just for the purpose of this stream, obviously we have to keep his name out of this, censored, and that's why I've said to people in the chat, don't mention his name, don't say anything bad about him, because we've seen how his mentality on Twitter. He plays the victim. He's one of them. Okay, he tries to bring his autism into it as well, like a lot of these fans over the last 5 years have done. Anytime they behave badly and then they get called out, they revert back to, well, I'm disabled. And I think that's absolutely disgusting. Don't be hiding behind a disability because you're being an ass. Okay? Own up to it. Right? And if you can't own up to it, then keep your mouth shut, is what I would say. But let's go to the next screenshot. Because this, again, as I said, this is a guy that believes the media over the law of the land. Right? So, there you go. And as I said, their name is covered. So, they're obviously screenshotted me and a couple of other people there that were talking about it. But this is what they said. I'm not afraid to say that the Guardian article is genuine along the 20 plus women's accusations. If these SP's apologists really think that the other side's fault, they're just being hypocrites. And there's the little hashtag of his that he made, right? So keep that in mind, what he just said there. Now, I've got something else to share, which is very quickly. See, I'm prepared today. And I had to be prepared for this because the only, yeah, you have to do this properly, right? It's just the way I am. So I will screen share this. So you heard what he just said there in that tweet, that he believes 20 plus accusations in the Guardian newspaper, right? Now, listen to Noel Clarke. Yes, I am showing this video again. And I think it's relevant because This is very important, right? People need to listen to what Noel Clarke says here.
Oh, I want you to remember what was said about me. You know, all these police things that were said about me, more people coming forward to the police, police are investigating this, that, and the other, and then eventually, you know, police have dropped the investigation due to insufficient evidence and all that sort of malarkey. I want you to remember all of that because it gives me crazy PTSD, but that's what was said. But, you know, there's a thing called the Freedom of Information Act. And when you do the Freedom of Information Act, you can request a right of access. So I requested my right of access, which is...
Now, you just heard him saying there that he accessed the Freedom of Information Act on himself. Now, I'm just going to say to the journalists out there that have done hit piece after hit piece on Noel Clarke, why haven't you guys followed up on this video when Noel Clarke states that he did the Freedom of Information Act on himself, right? And this is what he found out, folks. Okay, so we'll go back a little bit here. So this is what he found out. Listen very carefully to what Noel Clarke says here.
So I requested my right of access, which is this bit of paper right here, and the email that comes with it. And basically, my right of access tells me in black and white from the Metropolitan Police that in my 40 plus years of life, there has never, ever been a complaint or police report made about me.
Now, in 40 odd years of his life, there has never ever been a police complaint made about Noel Clarke. Okay? So, before we get into the rest of the video, so what I would say to the Guardian journalist is, well, you lied to the public because you told the public there was a police investigation and that the accused, the alleged victims, had went to the police. So why hasn't the Guardian responded to this video? Why hasn't the media responded to this video? And why is the person and the man behind the anti-campaign against Noel Clarke, why aren't you taking it from the horse's mouth here when he's telling you that he accessed the Freedom of Information Act, right? And has said in 40 years no crime has been reported against him. But yet, you would rather believe the media who do not set the laws in the UK. Anyway, let's get back to this video because we're 49 seconds in. I promise you there'll be no more pausing. So we will continue.
Ever, in any way, shape or form. There's no documents found anywhere on the system where I am named as a person that's complained of or a suspect. So, interesting. So I guess now I was just so evil and manipulative that I did everything that was kind of just under the level of criminality. Or maybe, and I'm just throwing it out there, maybe there's a bit of exaggeration and collusion and embellishment and bullshit. But hey, just saying, there are a lot of bad people in this business. I promise you, I was not one. Oh,
So, not one crime was reported. Not one. Not one crime was reported in 40 odd years. No investigation, no alleged victim went to the police. They went to the media. Now, I would question, why did they go to the media? And the answer is simple. Because we have seen already out there, high profile case. You write a hit piece on someone, you can destroy their career. Plain and simple, this was a witch hunt. Right? Now, let's remind ourselves what the leader of this campaign, said again. I'm afraid to say that the Guardian article is genuine, right? It's genuine, he says. But if you read the article, right, they make the claim that these alleged victims went to the police. Noel Clarke has told us that no crime was reported, no investigation done. And he's calling us hypocrites. We're not hypocrites. We just want to see justice being done. And as far as the law is concerned, there is no criminality here. There is no investigation needed to be done, and no crime was reported. Now, I'm going to show you a few more because we got plenty. And I'm just going to show you some of the stuff that so hold on. So he threw this up. Now again, you will see that people like myself, John the White, Gobby Guy, and others out there that have been very vocal about Noel Clarke's innocence and about the witch hunt, because that's exactly what it is. And I'm going to actually say it officially, it's a witch hunt. Now, the article states that there's a central character that went and told other alleged victims that there were photographs and video. Yet, when you do an article like The Guardian anyway, right, and if you're a journalist, right, and if you're a decent journalist and a proper journalist, right, if you're going to do an article like that, it is very important to cover all bases, right? So, if there is any evidence out there to get, it's a journalist's responsibility to ask the people that are making these accusations, well, have you any evidence to back up what you're telling us? But it seems today in modern journalism that they don't do that. And the reason for that is that a lot of journalism today is activism. It's propaganda. These people are not real journalists. They all have their beliefs. They all have their own ideology. And, you know, it reflects in the articles that they write. And this has been going on quite a lot. Quite a lot. Over the last few years especially. Anyway, let's continue, because then he turned his attention onto Sophia Miles. And he wrote this. I'm not surprised that Noel Clarke is saying that I should shut the F up while thanking his new toxic allies. And I'm the one who's been misogynistic towards Sophia Miles. So not true. He liked this post where someone is calling Sophia Miles the CUNT word. See you next Tuesday. So, yeah, he's not misogynistic at all. He's unbelievable. He's unbelievable. And here is another one. right? Seems to me he's targeting. For context, I called out Sophia Miles for defending Noel Clarke after she called my friend prick for speaking out against them. She blocked me afterwards, and the fact that she suggested following John the White before deleting it made things worse. Again, you know, he went into her safe. He went into her. I think they were having one of those spaces or something or whatever it is, and there was a conversation happening, and Sophia had named it Sophia's safe space, and you were listening, and as you do know, some fans recorded some of the audio and threw it up, and that's how she faced the backlash. And again, absolutely disgusting behavior. And this is a guy that goes around calling us, because we didn't like Jodie Whittaker as the doctor, misogynistic. He seems to be targeting anybody, not just us, obviously. He's targeted Sophia Miles as well. And again, there are so many that I could share, so many of these posts. It's unbelievable. I just think anybody that's believing a newspaper article over the law of the land. I mean, I don't know what kind of society that we're living in, that that facts are being ignored, right? And this is another one. This is where, when BAFTA had obviously BAFTA had suspended and Noel, and of course Justice for Noel Clarke, which is a Twitter account that you should all follow. If you believe in justice for Noel Clarke, please do. And they were directly asking BAFTA. They needed to clarify their position. And then this person then said, hashtag BAFTA made the right decision to suspend him. Hashtag, again, his anti-campaign hashtag there. And what he does as well, which we've noticed, is he deflects a lot. He likes to do that. He likes to, when he knows he's being called out, he likes to deflect. And recently, he's been picking again. He brought up Lee for no reason. As you know, Lee is not even on Twitter anymore. Now, this is what some of you mightn't know this, but a couple of people, Sophia and Gobby Guy, are organising the stream for Doctor Who fans, and they wanted to know who would like to be part of that. So I've put my name in there along with other people have put their name in. And this was his response to that. Now, you tell me, maybe I'm just saying things here, but to me, it seems like this is a targeted campaign towards Sophia. You let me know what you think. So they responded when the tweet was put up about this live stream, and then this was their response. When Sophia Miles does her hashtag Doctor Who themed YouTube live stream, I suggest retweeting my thread below to spread the word on her new toxic friends. right? And the reason why he calls us toxic, and just to clarify for people that are listening to this stream that are probably new to this channel, the only reason why he's calling us toxic is because we didn't like this era of Doctor Who, and I didn't like a female doctor. That's just my personal thing. I didn't like it. She didn't convince me, and that's why we're toxic, right? So I just want to put that into context. That's why we're toxic, because we didn't like this era of Doctor Who. So when he talks about toxic and misogynistic misogyny, that's what he means. It's in relation to Doctor Who, because he's a sad person, like most of them on that side of the fandom, that just can't accept that there were fans out there that didn't warm to this era. And it's not the first era that's happened. There was a lot of younger fans who didn't like Peter Capaldi. I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of young fans went away after Matt Smith regenerated into Peter Capaldi. Okay, so it's not the first time that this happened, but you don't hear them calling those fans out. They only called us out because it was the first female doctor and they had to defend her because the media set up the narrative in the first place. Anybody that was against Jodie Whittaker's doctor was a sexist pig, basically. And that's not true. People had genuine concerns, and I think over the past 5 years, since we've seen the era happen, I think we've all been vindicated anyway. So, you know. But anyway, so as you could tell, you know, he doesn't hold back when he's criticizing. Here's another one. If you really think that, so Noel Clarke had wrote up this tweet, and I can actually read it here. He says, "Morning, reminder to be #be kind. We've lost people before without knowing all the facts. Also remember, their rules are different if you look and sound like me. They wanted me dead," right? So Noel Clarke was basically talking about the fact that people out there wanted them dead after the hit piece was released. And then this person behind the anti-campaign wrote, "If you really think that I wanted you dead, Noel, then you're wrong. We have every right to hold you accountable for what you did to 20 women, so you ought to make a formal apology to your victims or distance yourself from your toxic friends." Now, again, as I said, no investigation was ever conducted. In 40 odd years of Noel Clarke's life, not one crime was reported against him. No investigation done. So who the hell do you think you are to say that you're going to hold him accountable when the law of the land has deemed Noel Clarke to be an innocent man? I mean, what do you not get here? The law of the land have said no investigation. He's done the Freedom of Information Act. No crime reported. Verified by 4 other detectives. What more proof do you need to be told that Noel Clarke is an innocent man? Right? The hit piece in The Guardian has not one single piece of evidence to back up what any of these 20 alleged victims reported. And remember, it's not actually 20. It's a couple of people that have told other people that Noel had video and photographs they didn't even know and all of this other rubbish. So it's a lot of hearsay. Right? It's hearsay. There is no evidence in that article. And the fact that, as I said, the police have deemed no investigation, Freedom of Information Act. And then he wrote this rather threatening tweet. So he goes, me, I'm the one who should shut the F up. Remember, I read the earlier tweet. You have no idea what you're dealing with, Noel. And then for some weird reason, he went off on one. Sounds rather threatening to me. So, this is kind of the final one on this, and then I'm going to give a bit of a summary. But as I said, could have showed a lot more, but I'd be here all day. And, while it is important to expose the behavior of this person, we don't want to dwell on it too much because we do have a lot of work to do behind the scenes for our hashtag Justice for Noel Clarke. There'll be plenty of more streams to come up. I'm pretty sure of that, and we'll have other things that we're going to do. Also in October, I'm going to be hosting the movie zone, where we're going to do Noel Clarke's Hood trilogy. So Kittyhood, Adulthood, and a Brotherhood. So if you're a fan of those movies, from October onwards, we will be doing those. So racism has nothing to do with holding Noel Clarke accountable. It's his supporters who have been using it as an excuse to deny the Guardian's article. So does the hashtag that he has anything to do with inciting racial hatred? Absolutely not. And he said that in response to, because, we kind of did question, is racism behind their motivation? Because, as I said, they're ignoring the facts and they're believing an article. So again, they've just said it again. No matter what you say to this person, they always go back to this Guardian article, which has more holes in it than Swiss cheese. And you've heard what Noel Clarke said, right? No crime reported, no investigation done. In 40 years of his life, no crime has been reported. No alleged victim that featured in that Guardian article actually went to the police. So the two journalists that wrote the article in the first place have lied straight up. And this is why I'm saying, why hasn't anybody from the Guardian newspaper responded to Noel Clarke's video, where he clearly contradicts what the two journalists have written? But nothing. They've stayed silent. So they do an article, ruin a man's life, and move on. This seems to be what we do in today's society. We do a hit piece, we put it out there for the public to digest, we let the public make up their mind, and then that's it. We say no more. Right? That's absolutely bang out of order. The Guardian must be held to account, and all the subsequent news articles that were written. And of course, as we know ourselves, Noel Clarke will be taking action against some of these people, and rightly so. Rightly so. But we got Cinnamon Toast Crunch in the chat, and Darren Bradley. I've seen some new people in there, just to give you a bit of a shout out. Let's see. Who else? Just in case I've missed anybody. The Classic 80s Fanboy is also in the chat as well. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. And I think we have everybody there. Even the hashtag is highly questionable. No justice. How horrible does that sound? Exactly. No justice. You know what I mean? So is there a part of this person that actually believes he's innocent? But I mean, why would you write no justice when clearly that article and people need to question that article after that Noel Clarke video? And the media have stayed silent. Now, there has been, I think, one article that I've seen that has come out and questioned this. But one article is not good enough. And, you know, we need to get this out in the public eye. We need to get people to understand that there are questions that these two journalists behind that article need to answer. Any good journalist would follow up on that. If they seen that Noel Clarke video, right, and they were determined to nail this guy because they truly believed that he was all the things that he's been accused of, they would go in and look into that video, they would hear what he said, and then they'd go and access the Freedom of Information Act because they're the press, and they could dispel this from Noel Clarke. But there has been no attempt to do that. And then the question you have to ask yourself is why? Why? Right? Why? I mean, we're living in a very sinister society. And I'm going to show you something pretty disgusting now in a few minutes. These are now these have nothing to do with this particular guy. As I said, that's why I've made it clear in this stream. So the next section of this stream has nothing to do with this guy behind this hashtag. This is someone else completely different on Messenger who has been sending me some rather disgusting messages. Now, some people in the chat have already seen the screenshots to these messages because, you know, when I do streams like this in particular, and I expose people that have been harassing me, a lot of people question it, right? So, as I always do, you know, I like to inform people that I can trust, but also that I know that have me back. And some of them have seen these screenshots. I threw them up on Twitter in a private chat. So they know what I'm talking about. Again, I'm not going to mention this person's name either, but what he has sent me, and he's implicating other people too, is rather disgusting. And this happened 2 years ago. Now, this person has admitted that they were the ones behind saying those vile, disgusting things about me and my wife and other people that we knew. But we'll get into that in a few minutes because obviously we want to finish up on this part of the stream. So, in summary, this person behind the no justice for Noel Clarke, which thank you for someone actually even saying that. Even there, the hashtag is highly questionable. Why would you call it no justice for Noel Clarke unless you believed he was innocent? But I don't know why you would want to, you know, tarnish an innocent man. And the only thing that I can think of is racism. Of course, I'm not accusing you of racism, but I mean, even that hashtag no justice for Noel Clarke, it kind of suggests that you do believe that he might be innocent. But I've showed you how much of a hypocrite this person is. As I said, advocates for women, me too, BLM, all of that other stuff that we see most of these fans support. And then he's targeted Sophia Miles, has even warned his supporters about the upcoming Gobby Guy stream that he's organised with Sophia to bring Doctor Who fans on. He's even alerted them that they should basically troll the stream with his hashtag and all of the stuff that he writes up to show, quote unquote, to show Sophia who our new friends are, right? Sophia doesn't listen to any nonsense out there. Sophia gets to know people by just focusing on getting to know them. She doesn't listen to any of the nonsense that's out there, because you can frame us any way you want and say that we're this, that, and the other, right? The reality of the situation is that, you know, this woman has gotten to know some of us, and, you know, she has made up her mind. And I'm sorry if that offends you. At the end of the day, we aren't all the things. You can call us all the toxic names you want, right? If you want to live in that fantasy land, that's up to you. But people like Sophia, Noel, Clarke, and others out there, and it's even happened to this channel, people that were originally against this channel, they start listening to me live streams and start ignoring the bull crap. They change their mind and opinions about me. Because, you know, social media is very dangerous. You know, you could say literally anything, or these people can literally say anything, ruin someone's life and get away with it. Unbelievable. So yeah, in summary, this person really needs to really look at all the stuff, the evidence, because I'm sorry, whether you like it or not, the Guardian newspaper, as I said, is not the law of the land. Okay? The police have already come out and says there will be no investigation. And again, I will remind everybody for the final time, because we're obviously going to be switching topic now, but I think we should hear from Noel Clarke for one last time. And I would say to the Guardian, I would say to anybody out there that's supporting this clown, this anti-hashtag, I would listen to what Noel Clarke has to say. And then, if you're anyway decent of a human being, you will actually go and check all of this out for yourself. And I guarantee you, you will have questions. You will say, well, the Guardian needs to actually answer some of those questions. Because, again, as I said, the Noel Clarke video in itself puts everything to bed. The fact that the police have also come out as well to back him up. They've said that there'll be no investigation. But still, it's not good enough for some people. So, what I'm trying to do here is for anybody out there that is supporting this person behind the no justice for Noel Clarke, I would say seriously look into this. Be open-minded is another thing, because there seems to be in today's society, everybody seems to be closed-minded. Once they have an opinion on someone, they stick to that opinion, or if there's a general consensus by some people out there that this person is this, that, and the other, people just go along with that without even actually looking into it. So that would be the main thing that I would say to people today. There's 29 people watching right now, and I'm pretty sure he's watching and some of his supporters are watching. So I would say be open minded, check it out yourselves. Don't be listening to other people out there. Read it all, read the Guardian article, and then all of the evidence that has been generously investigated by John the White. And then look at Noel Clarke's video. He's also done an article as well for a newspaper. You got to look into it all. And after it all, I am confident that you will come to the same conclusion as the rest of us. Now, just to point out to people out there, because there is 28 people watching. Originally, like a lot of people out there, I did jump the gun and I did believe the Guardian article, right? I've made that abundantly clear from day one, right? When I had looked at everything, realised I was wrong, and I apologised for it. I took down my videos. I did the right thing because it was the right thing to do. In society, we seem to jump the gun quite a lot. We seem to take the media as fact. Okay, and we seem to ignore the facts and the law. And that's highly dangerous. We need to get back to where the law is respected. Now, I know in some countries, they have that problem with their police force. That's not the issue here, right? The issue is that we should be stopped listening to the media and we should be listening to the people that actually, are the ones that delve out justice or whatever, right? But anyway, let's give Noel Clarke the final say yet again before we move on. And I'll be quick on the other one because I don't want to dwell on the other one too much either, because when you see it, you'll see how disgusted I actually was. But let's give Noel Clarke the final say here. So again, just to read the tweet from Noel Clarke. And this is what I said, right? The Guardian newspaper obviously would have seen this, right? Or the journalist behind the article would have seen this. Now, if I was a journalist working for that newspaper and I'd say, oh, Jesus, Noel's at the putting out a video there. I think we need to look into this, see if he's telling the truth or can we expose that he's lying, right? That's what any journalist would do, worth their grain of salt. But they've stayed quiet. And the fact that they've stayed quiet is very, very telling. Seriously. So he writes, no investigation, no assessment, no complaints, no reports. So the Guardian newspaper claimed that these alleged victims went to the police. So already the article has lied. Right? And this is why you shouldn't believe the media over the law of the land. Facts. I waited to post this until it was confirmed by 4 other detectives. Now, he has said he didn't post this until it was confirmed by 4 other detectives. Now, if those detectives that he mentions thought he was lying, they obviously something would be said. Trust me. So the fact again that nobody has questioned this video, nobody has put out a rebuttal, zero, zilch, nothing. Everybody is being quiet. Anyway, so let's watch again because, at the end of the day, why is this? It's acting all freaky here. Hold on now. Can you actually see that? It's upside down. What the hell? Are you watching what's happening here? The Exorcist is taking over my computer. What the hell? This is brilliant. Will this even play?
Oh, I want you to remember what was said about me. All these police things that were said about me. More people coming forward to the police. Police are investigating this, that, and the other, and then eventually, police have dropped the investigation due to insufficient evidence and all that sort of malarkey. I want you to remember all of that because it gives me crazy PTSD, but that's what was said. But there's a thing called the Freedom of Information Act. And when you do the Freedom of Information Act, you can request a right of access. So I requested my right of access, which is this bit of paper right here, and the email that comes with it. And basically, my right of access tells me in black and white from the Metropolitan Police that in my 40 plus years of life, there has never, ever been a complaint or police report made about me, ever, in any way, shape, or form. There's no documents found anywhere on the system where I am named as a person that's complained of or a suspect. So, interesting. So I guess now I was just so evil and manipulative that I did everything that was kind of just under the level of criminality. Or maybe, and I'm just throwing it out there, maybe it was a bit of exaggeration and collusion and embellishment and bullshit. But hey, just saying, there are a lot of bad people in this business. I promise you, I was not one.
So, not one investigation was done, and it was actually backed up by the police when they actually came out and said that he would face no criminal charges. So it was backed up by the police. So what I would say to people out there is there has to be serious questions asked of the Guardian newspaper. Also, the people that run the newspaper, why would they allow such an article to be published without any evidence to back it up? It's all hearsay, right? No evidence. Apparently, he took video and photographs, right? Why hasn't any of the alleged victims produced those video or photographs? Now, you could include them in the Guardian article and censor them, obviously. But if they had them, that would nail Noel Clarke and he wouldn't be able to come back from it and he'd be done, he'd be finished. Right? But they included no such thing in the article. No links to no photographs or video. So, yes, questions have to be asked and answers must be given. Noel Clarke has accessed the Freedom of Information Act. These two journalists were any good, even though they won Journalists of the Year. I don't know how those two won Journalists of the Year when they can't even do a follow-up on Noel Clarke's video. Because here's the thing, as I said, these aren't journalists, right? The two particular journalists in this case are actually feminists and, you know, supporters of Me Too, and they've done exposés on other industries and the behaviour of the exploitation of women and the behaviour of men. And they won Journalist of the Year for a piece that they didn't even follow up on and have stayed silent on, even though questions need to be answered, especially after that Noel Clarke video. He's not going to throw up a video on Instagram and on Twitter and say all of that, right, if he didn't have the backing of those four detectives. There's no way, because he'd be held account because he'd be lying. But the police have actually backed them up because they said there will be no investigation. And he's already told you, Noel has told you that in the 40 years of his life, not one single report was made against him. So why didn't any of these 20 odd alleged victims go to the police? So this is the only hashtag that matters. An innocent man has been smeared and dragged through the mud. An innocent man has been driven to the brink of suicide. An innocent man has lost his career. And for what? Now, Noel Clarke has suggested that racism may have played a part in this. I'm not going to deny that. If that's how Noel feels, and he would know, because he works in the industry, he knows how it works. So if he's telling us that there is something to this and there might be a racist element to it, I would agree with him. And again, questions, answers. These journalists need to answer questions. They cannot just write an article. Look, this is the way. This is the way I've always look. You cannot just tell stories about someone, right, and not have any consequences if it turns out to be false, right? But we seem to be living in a society where these people like Amber Heard, and others out there can go to the media or can write articles directly accusing men of these despicable things and have their names dragged through the mud, have their careers taken away from them, and then it turns out then that these guys were actually innocent. But there's still no consequences for the people that made the accusations in the first place. Now, obviously, in the Amber Heard case, she was found guilty, so there was a consequence there, but still, she's still banging on that she's innocent. Look, she could say what she wants, she could blame the jury of being corrupt and all of this, all these deflection tactics, right? Even the head of this hashtag does the same. It's all deflect. Oh, look what this person said, blah, 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 blah. But you're denying facts. And the fact that someone brought it up, and rightly so, that you have a no justice for Noel Clarke. No justice. So is there a part of you that actually believes he's innocent? The fact of the matter is that Noel, in the eyes of the law, is an innocent man. And as he is an innocent man in the eyes of the law, he should have his career back in full the way it was. Apologies should be made. But again, as I said, the main culprits behind all of this need to be held accountable. And as I said, Noel is going to do that through the eyes of the law. He's going to do it through the law. He's going to do it the proper way. He's not going to go running to the Guardian newspaper and write an article and start pointing fingers left, right, and centre. And, he's going to do it the proper way. Anyway, as I said, I could sit here, rant and rave and be angry at this person and people like him, but there's no point, right? All I can do on these streams is that supporters of that person are here listening to me right now because I knew they would actually tell people, and that's absolutely fantastic because now you can decide for yourselves. You can look into everything that I've spoke about. You have seen Noel Clarke's video. As I said, the police have also come out and backed them up by saying there will be no investigation. So if the eyes of the law deem him innocent, it's backed up by 4 other detectives. He's accessed the right of Freedom of Information Act on himself, which shows in 40 odd years not one single complaint, investigation or crime was reported against him. Then you really have to seriously question people like that person behind that hashtag and what their true motivation is. And what the true motivation was of some of these people that were telling alleged victims that Noel had stuff, video and photographs, what their motivation is. And also what the motivation of the journalists were. But I can tell you what the motivation of the journalists were because, as I said, they're not really journalists. They're feminists, propagandists. So, they've managed to get themselves into journalism. This is what they do. They do jobs that they don't really like doing, right? But they get into these positions of power so they can spread their toxicity against men and their propaganda. And this is another victim of that. And again, I want to make clear before I wrap this section up is that if there is someone out there that has been seriously affected by issues like this, I would say to you and plead to you, going through the media is not the right way to do it. Go to the police. And that's what I would always encourage people. Go to the police. If you've got a crime to report, go to the police. Right? And this is another thing why I have such disdain towards these journalists, or activists, as I call them, activists in the media, as Cinnamon Toast Crunch has put it nicely, right? They had an agenda from day one, and they look out for stories like this. So, it's their job in essence. But you see, I'm sorry, you can't just write an article and think that there's no people are just going to take it at face value. And unfortunately, as I said, a lot of us did originally. Some of us copped on. Some were adamant that he was innocent from day one, like Sophia Miles and others out there. And, he has had support of other people privately. Obviously, they don't want to come forward publicly because we've seen what happens when people come forward publicly. But they're all activists. They all have an agenda, and there is no consequence to anything that they do. And this is the society that we live in. And then what happens then is when they are called out and held accountable, they play the victim. But there's a lot of things that need to be discussed about that Guardian article. And I hope people out there start questioning all this, because you need to. You need to. Noel Clarke, if he hadn't had the support that he's had, his family, his friends, and obviously, fans on social media that have supported him, I don't think he'd be here, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, this has truly, really affected him. You could see it has. And, we're just living in a society where, if you're a man, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but we've all got targets on our backs, unfortunately. And it's something that we're going to have to deal with till the day that we die. Unless there's a real pushback on all of this nonsense. But stuff like this being exposed, and the Amber Heard case has really opened a lot of people's eyes. And let's hope it continues to do that, because I don't want to live in a society where I have a target on me back because of me gender. It's absolutely disgusting. And I know some people will laugh at that and say, well, women have had to deal with that, all of this. But here's the thing. You can't punish us for past mistakes in society, right? What we can do is we can learn from our past mistakes, but we learn in such a way that, it's inclusive to everybody, and people don't feel like, that they've got targets on their back and, they're being picked on and stuff like that. It's just ridiculous. It needs to stop. Anyway, we've got someone saying bring back Noel for Series 14. I'd look, to be honest with you, don't see that happening. And two wrongs never make a right. That is one of the most perfect quotes out there, and it's absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. Right. Now, let's get into the other the other troll. And as I said, I'm part of a group on Twitter. We've got our own little private chat, and I've shown that chat these screenshots. Now, I'm not going to show you the screenshots. I'm going to show you the generated tweets and then one screenshot. But I'm just going to show you what I've been sent over the last week. And it's highly disgusting. Now, this person has already blocked me on Messenger. But the problem for them is that, yeah, just because you block someone on Messenger doesn't mean that the messages aren't still there. You little fool. But I just wanted to show you some of these screenshots. Now, he is using for people that we know out there to make accusations against me. Now, anybody that's been with me from day one will know that about 2 or 3 years ago, I say it's about 3 years ago, in the early days, there was an account out there that was harassing me very badly, was harassing Cheryl, harassing me, and was saying some of the most vile, disgusting things you could say about a person. There's actually even a video that I put up a couple of years back that exposed all of this. And the actual video, they send me a screenshot of it and they admit that they were the ones that were behind the trolling. So this guy, right, out of the blue, right, hasn't said anything in years. All of a sudden, this week, or was last week, sent me generated tweets and implicated people making accusations against me. Now, I want to make absolutely clear that the people that the guy mentions in this tweet never made any such tweet. They're fake generated tweets. So none of these accounts have actually made these claims against me. Now, I've informed one of them. I haven't informed the other one because we don't really get on. But at the same time, I know they wouldn't do that. You know, we might have our differences, but there's no way they would say anything like that because they're not stupid. They're not basically the people that he used for this are not stupid, right? They would not say such a thing because they know that there'd be consequences, and the consequence would be I get a solicitor and sue their asses, right? Now, these tweets don't exist on their pages, so I want to make that clear before I throw these up because I don't want people saying, oh, blah, 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 right? I've made it clear that these people that are mentioned in these fake tweets have nothing to do with these tweets, okay? Now, prepare yourself because they're pretty disgusting. And a couple of people in the chat have already seen them. And so I'm just giving you a fair warning, right? So we will actually start off with the screenshot first because I think it is actually, this would be the better one to start off with. So Gobby has seen them, of course, because, you know, I keep people informed and you know, I know myself, Gobby, and others out there, we have each other's backs, you know, and I like to let me friends know what's happening. So if I get accused of making all of this up, they can back me up. So do you remember we did a panel? So troll attack. So they sent me this screenshot, right? So trolls attack the channel and make vile comments, right? So 2 years ago, right? And during this panel, we discussed the state of Doctor Who. And then there they admitted, I want you to know that it's tell Cersei, I want you to I want her to know it was me. Right? So they admitted that they were the ones behind the sick attack on me and the missus. Right? Now, It was only when I was doing, obviously, my research for this stream that I realized that I was sent these messages before, the exact same type of messages. And I do remember, because I didn't trust anybody in the fandom, when I did actually see them, I actually approached some of the people that were being implicated, but I didn't know at the time. And I was saying, what the feck are you talking about me like that for? That's highly disgusting. He says, it's not us. And it turns out it wasn't. So just to show you one particular screenshot. So apparently they wrote it. I'm not going to show you the message, right? Because obviously, even though it's on Messenger, it is a private correspondent. I can show you these, but I can't actually show you the conversation, because I did lay into them, and I'm not afraid to say I laid into them. Now I didn't flip out or they didn't get the reaction that he wanted, because he clearly tried to get under my skin with some of these, and in particular with this one, right? So now these were sent to me just recently again. So they sent me this screenshot to get a reaction out of me, but unfortunately it didn't. But this is the type of thing that I've been sent, and we'll continue. By the way, they get worse. So as I said, just prepare yourself. I'm not even going to read them out. I'll just throw them up on the screen for you to see. So this is where he implicated, or he pretended to be Joe Matrix Lord 212. As I said, remember, these are not from any of the people that this idiot has fake tweeted. So as you can see the date, because I just want to make clear that he sent these before, but he put a new date and time in this generator. So there he's pretending to be Matrix Lord, right? And then as you can read, right? I'll continue. Now, why am I showing you all this? Is some people probably question, why am I showing this? I just want to show you this because I've told people in this fandom that I get picked on a lot, right? And people say, oh, Noel's playing the victim. I'm not playing any victim here, right? This is stuff that gets sent to me. I've been sent pictures of beheadings. I've been told, like Lee, die in car crash, hope you get COVID, all of this nonsense. Right? People think that I have I could spend a whole year just doing videos on the type of stuff. Again, they pretend to be Dr. Freedom here. It's not Dr. Freedom, want to make it clear. But again, they put up this fake generated tweet. Again, same stuff that they were talking about a couple of years ago. And then they pretend to be Dr. Freedom again to try get a reaction out of me. But this time, see, this is different Noel. This is Noel 2.0. See, Noel 1.0 would have reacted to all of this and would have called all of these people out, right? But this is Noel 2.0. Noel 2.0 doesn't react. Noel 2.0 checks everything first before he strikes. And yes, I'm talking about myself in third person, but who gives a crap? Right, hold on. Why isn't this not? Right. So there's another one. As I said, he's implicating. Again, these have nothing to do with the accounts that these people are trying to implicate here. Okay, so again, just want to make that clear. This is not these people. Now, funny thing is that screenshot that I showed you at the very start, you would have seen underneath it. It said no longer on Messenger anymore. So they literally blocked me when they didn't get the reaction that they wanted, and then they tried to actually say that they fancied me. When that wasn't working and slagging my wife off, they tried to say that they fancied me and all of this and blah blah blah. And then they even fake tweeted me. And these are the same tweets that they put up 2 years ago, right? But as I said, look at the new date. So they've read. So basically, what they've done is they've gotten all the old tweets that they generated, and they've obviously went through them and they've redone them again and put the date. So you could see the 23rd of September 2022. So it's only what, last week. Um, Now this one nearly did get a reaction out of me, but when I seen that the person that they're talking about and this was okay and actually tried to warn me, and I'd already known about it, but I want to thank that person because you will see who it is anyway. But the fact that they even bring this person into it is absolutely disgusting. And this is the final one, actually. And that's about Air Legend. That's about Air Friend. And again, all of these screenshot fake generated tweets were designed to try to get a reaction out of me. And when all of that wasn't working, then they turned on to me wife. And then when that wasn't working, then they tried to say that they fancied me to get a reaction out of me. But unfortunately, they didn't get that reaction. And that's why they've actually done this. And I just want to show you just one final time. And if you see down the very, very bottom, and I hope you can when I show you this, but because they didn't get the reaction that they wanted off me, this is what they did. This person is unavailable on Messenger. So they've blocked me. They've blocked me because they didn't get the reaction. And that's the thing. And this is the message that I want to send to you all out there that think that you can get under me skin. Okay? I've had to deal with you numbnuts for 5 years, right? And over those 5 years, you have desensitized me to all your behavior. So now, when you come and attack me, you are not going to get under me skin. Okay? You aren't going to get a reaction out of me. Not the reaction that you want anyway. And as I said, you are wasting your time. You are literally standing in front of an immovable object. I'm going nowhere. You can say the things you want to say about me and others that I know out there. It's not going to have an effect on us reporting on the stuff that we report. And this is the thing that I love about this side of our community. No matter what we've had to deal with, and I see Lee is in the chat, and it's been a long time since I've seen Lee, and it's nice to see you in the chat, pal. But no matter what we've all had to deal with, Gobby Guy's had to deal with his shit as well. People were messing around with his email and all of that a few months back, or a good few months back. He'll be able to tell you exactly when. But and then because he's supporting this campaign, the hashtag Justice for Noel, Clarke is being targeted. Lee has been targeted. He's not even on Twitter, and there's people still, giving him stick. He's not even on the platform. And they're still going. Right? Bottom line is that for 5 years, you have tried all of these tactics. 5 years, you have tried to get under my skin. And sometimes you have succeeded, and I'm not going to lie. Right? I'm a very open person. Wear my heart on my sleeve, and there have been times where I've gotten really, really upset. I'm not going to lie. It does get to you after a while, especially, at the early days. But because it's happened so frequently now, it doesn't bother me anymore. And, I remember getting advice off a very big YouTuber who actually said that, you'll react to certain stuff and blah, 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 but soon you will learn that, the more you react, the more ammunition you get them. And that has been my biggest problem, especially in the early days. But as I said, I've become immune to it all. I've been sent the most vile, disgusting stuff throughout these last 5 years. And I'm sorry, but I've gotten to the stage where it doesn't faze me anymore. Yous are actually wasting your time. The fact that I still live inside our heads rent free after 5 years is actually very, very, very funny to me. Yous are actually so obsessed that I didn't like this era of Doctor Who that for 5 years you've tried to hound me off every platform that I've been on. We're not going anywhere. We'll report on the behaviour of this fandom because it's the right thing to do. Doctor Who fans are supposed to conduct themselves in a decent manner, in a respectful manner. And yes, while we've all played a part in this fandom over the last 5 years, I won't deny that I've played my part. We've all played our part. But I will say this, and people will back me up on this. The only time I've ever struck is when I'm defending myself. Right? That's the only time I've ever fought back, is when I'm defending myself. Now, I will say in the early days, I did call out the likes of Crystal D, Ben Cook and stuff like that from the nonsense that they were talking about, saying there was no conversation to be had about Jodie Whittaker's casting. Now, as a fan, I thought that was wrong. Fandom is all about discussion. It's all about debates. But in this new fandom, there's no room for that. If you want to debate something, you're a bad German, or you're a sexist, or you're a bigot, or you're this, that, and the other. Whatever phobe you can think of, they'll throw it in. Right? So, as I said, 5 years of this nonsense will make you immune. And that's exactly what it's done. On one side, I'm kind of glad, because now I can just get on with it and ignore you and just call you out when I feel like calling you out, or when it gets too far and you need to be called out. And then it's just gotten to the stage where I'm just like, I've seen it all before. And our best is not our best anymore. We've read the handbook. The handbook has been way overused. You need a new one. You need a new one. Because calling us the bad Germans, calling us racist, sexist, whatever you want to call us, it's not working. It's not working. You have to come up with a new playbook. I'm just sad because it never needed to go here. The fandom wasn't in the best particular condition during the Moffat era. I will admit there was a few more arguments than normal. But it was never toxic. It was never... People weren't being hounded off social media. It was only when a particular casting was made, and when the media had actually then, over the last... after her casting, The media then come out say, well, if anybody has a problem with a female doctor, is a sexist and a bigot and all of this. They set the precedent in this fandom. And then, obviously, then those fans that were 100% behind Whittaker's casting just start rehashing what the media had called us all. And it's the same playbook the last 5 years. And as I said, we've been vindicated. The show, whether you could still deny it all you want, the show's on its last legs. If RTD can't rescue this, Doctor Who's finished. That's the reality. And if he hadn't stepped in, RTD, this show was being cancelled. So yeah, great success. It was so successful that BBC were going to can it until RTD stepped in. There's your success. Anyway, I'll continue to live rent-free in years ahead for the next few years, hopefully. And we'll just continue doing what we're doing. And hopefully RTD can produce an era of Doctor Who that everybody can get behind. And then all your nonsense will be drowned out by fans that actually love the show again. That's all I ever want as a Doctor Who fan. I've watched every single Chris Chibnall Whittaker episode. There were times where I got a little bit optimistic, thinking he could deliver. And he let us down again. And Flux, I honestly did after the first episode. I had never felt as good about Doctor Who when that first episode aired, and I thought, you know what? He might actually deliver something. And of course, what he gave us was too many characters introduced, storyline that wasn't cohesive, plots all over the place, character development all over the place. So much so that after the series finale had dropped, Chibnall and Co. gone to a 15-minute video to explain why Doctor Who fans were stupid and didn't get it. We didn't get it, Chibs, because you didn't explain well. And if you didn't explain well, then you're not a very good showrunner. Again, when this goes wrong, right, like everything else, what do? Oh, well, it's not my fault. It's the fans' fault. It's never their fault. They never take responsibility for their own crap, right? It's everybody else's fault. Everybody else. Not me. No, I'm perfect. No, Doctor Who was written great. It's just the fans are stupid. Fans are stupid. That's the message, basically. And of course, RTD had a similar message when he claimed that LGBTQ plus people were more intelligent and creative than the rest of us, which didn't go down well. And rightly so. Again, we talk about inclusivity. You can't be saying that sort of nonsense. Come on, cop on. Anyway, we're a few weeks away from this mess end with the what's it called? The Power of the Doctor or something, isn't it? Yeah, the Power of the Doctor. An hour and a half. We've got to sit through a whole hour and a half. It's like a bleeding full length movie, isn't it? But we'll do it because we've watched from the beginning. We watched The Woman Who Fell to Earth. We've watched every single episode and every single special. It's funny. These people accuse me of not being a Doctor Who fan. Well, even though this era has been utter trash, I've watched it all the way through because I am a Doctor Who fan. If I wasn't a Doctor Who fan, I would have ignored this era of Doctor Who. But because I am a Doctor Who fan, I gave it a go anyway. It's like all the Star Wars fans that are moaning about shows out there, they're all still watching them because they're Star Wars fans. They want to see how it goes, right? And this is the whole thing that nullifies all of these idiots' arguments when they say we're not fans. We are. If anything, we're more of a fan because we've sat through this whole despicable, absolutely terrible, acted, written era of Doctor Who. I should be given a fucking medal. And the rest of us should be given a medal for having to sit through this mediocrity for the last 5 years. Right? Just because some fans and the media out there have lowered standards doesn't mean the rest of us are going to lower our standards. We expect Doctor Who to be at a certain level. And if you're not at that level, well, then you're not good enough. It's as simple as that. And is that arrogance? Is that self-entitlement? I don't give a crap what you say or what you think it is. At the end of the day, this show has a certain standard, and it hasn't had that standard for a few years now. So yous can all lower user expectations and user standards. But a lot of us in the fandom will never lower our expectations of what this show should be. Doctor Who, especially in this day and age, right, with the technology that's available, and now obviously RTD has money backing them up now, right? Doctor Who should be one of the top shows out there in the world. One of the top shows. It's the longest running sci-fi show on the fucking planet. Right? It should be one of the most popular shows out there. And for a brief moment during New Who's era, it was. It was global. But you look at global audiences, they've dwindled in the last 5 years. Dwindled compared to other eras. So no, I will never, ever lower my standards. I expect Doctor Who to be at a certain standard, and if it doesn't deliver, they just shouldn't have it on TV. It's as simple as that. It should be respected. A franchise that long running should be treated with the utmost respect and care. Right? Because it's got a fandom that's spanning 5 generations, nearly 6 generations now. No, maybe not generations, eras. Generations probably the wrong word to. Well, probably not actually, because it was passed down through my father to me, then me to me brothers. So I mean, wherever which way you look at it, it's being passed down, right? It's a show that a lot of people have pride in. It's a show that people are very protective of. People have emotional attachment to the show. So yes, it should be treated with the utmost respect. This is Doctor Who's this is BBC's golden goose. And they've basically, what they've done is they've shit the egg out. Let's hope RTD can rescue it. We'll see. Obviously, we will watch because we're Doctor Who fans, and I will give him a go. His first era, to me, I love his first era. So I can't wait to see what he does for this era. Of course, we do have that all-important 60th anniversary to look forward to as well. So we got plenty of things to look forward to, hopefully. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there because I think I've covered everything that I needed to cover. But as I said, I just want to thank everybody in the chat because you have all been brilliant. I have seen that no names were mentioned, and that is absolutely fantastic. Thank you for that and sticking to that. That's why, as I said, I censored because they're victim players. They play the big cry, even though it's public and it's out there in the public, and you can be criticized for it because that's my right as a critic, right? Whether it's I'm not a professional critic, right, but still, I'm a critic of stuff. And this stuff has to be criticized. But because I know they're such a crybaby, I've made sure to keep their identity censored. for this stream. I don't want to give them any opportunity to report me. Noel, when you finish check the Twitter group, you may be surprised. Actually, I'll do that right now. If it's something I can't speak about, obviously I won't. Don't worry, Gob. Gobby! Anyway, Gobby's been doing some great work. He did that stream with Sophia. Check it out. Oh. Right. Well, all I'd say is don't gloat about our brag, guys, right? Because then we'd be back in the same situation. Look, my job here wasn't to. That's why I censored his name, right? Now, all I've ever wanted is for this guy to go and check everything out. That's it. That's all I've ever wanted you to do. Just stop your silliness for now and go and check it all out, man. That's all I've ever wanted. But look, oh God. Look, he's putting a smile on my face. I'm not looking at her that way because this is a serious issue. But I know what you're saying. I know what you are saying, and I know some of you will relish in it because it has been a bit of an uphill struggle trying to get through to this person. But if we finally have gotten through to this person, then I'll say, well done. Well done for being the bigger man. Well, not being the bigger man, but well done for being a big man and actually maybe thinking that you may be wrong. And that's all. I just want you to question this, folks. That's it. Anyway, that has put a bit of a smile on my face. I will say, but as I said, there's no point of really. I'm not gonna gloat because there's no point of gloating because this is a serious issue. This is about Noel Clarke and the fact that an innocent man has been dragged through the mud. That's it. And that's the focus that I've always had on these streams. It's to just get the information out there along with Gobby on comics. Let's, even John, look, John LeWay has a bad reputation in the fandom, rightly or wrongly. That's up to any individual to decide for themselves. I haven't always agreed with his tactics either. I think people, and he knows that, but I cannot hide from the fact that this guy or not acknowledge the fact that this guy hasn't done some proper research and has called into question this Guardian article. And then we had the Noel Clarke video. Again, you cannot just automatically believe the media. There are processes there. And as I said, if it's verified by 4 of the detectives, he's coming out himself publicly and saying that no investigation. These journalists haven't even done a follow-up. They've kept quiet. Any journalist, and deep down yourself, any journalist would follow this up and I would actually try and see if he's lying or not, right? They really wanted to nail him. They would investigate this, but nothing's being done. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I suppose it has left on a bit of a positive note, I hope. But don't forget, hashtag justice for Noel Clarke. And again, I would say to that person out there, listen, you mightn't agree with people about some of their views and opinions. Looking at your tweets and your Twitter, there's some opinions I do agree with you on, and there's a lot that I don't. But you're entitled to that. And you should always remember that people are entitled to their opinions as well. And not everything is hate speech or racism or all this nonsense that you all come out with. Okay? That's the bottom line. We need to stop doing this as a society, right? We need to go back to having proper debates, proper discourse, being respectful to each other. And don't get me wrong, I haven't always been respectful in this fandom, especially when I've been called out, right? But I've admitted to all of that. Okay, I think it's important that you do acknowledge the fact that you've probably made mistakes, and I've made plenty, and I've admitted to all of that. But you've got to learn from those mistakes, and I think over these last few years, I definitely have. And personal growth and all of that. But you cannot just believe anything blindly anymore. Not in today's society. You've got to look at everything, weigh up everything before you start coming out and saying, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Or even the opposite, no, blah, blah, blah. You've got to look at it all and then make up your own mind. Anyway, I want to thank everybody in the chat that has joined us for this stream. I want to thank me moderators as well. It's nice to see Problem being in the chat as well. It's been a while. I hope everything is okay. And we got Scottish Davros and Friends Wrestle with Pop Culture, Raymond O'Reilly, Bobby in the chat as well, Cinnamon Toast and Jamie Knight and Bobby D75, who's a bit of a singer actually. Does a lot of stuff, throws a lot of stuff up. It's great. TARDIS Time also. Darren is in the chat as well. But look, I've called most of these out already, but I just thought I'd give you another little shout out. But again, if me moderators actually just before I do head off, sign off completely, if you could put in the links to Gobby Guy's stream, the one that he did with Sophia, and also the ones that he did with the investigation as well. Made it just to the end. Sorry, gang, was busy the last couple of hours. It's absolutely be grand. It's grand, man. I know you'll watch anyway. I'll be back soon, Noel. Yeah, can't wait to see you back on, man, mate. Thanks, Noel. Appreciate it. Yeah, I've been watching some of your videos, man. Fair play to you, man. I used to do a bit of singing myself, mostly karaoke now. But I was pretty decent. I haven't sang now in about I say properly in about nearly 10, maybe 11 years now at this stage. But yeah, I used to love a bit of singing myself, man. Back in the day, especially around the Oasis period, me mate was learning how to play guitar. So he was learning how to play Oasis songs, and of course we'd all, meet up, have a few beers. He'd whip out the guitar, and we'd sing Oasis songs. We even actually one time supported his dad's band in a pub. We were the halftime act, and we did a few Oasis tunes. That was pretty good. And I started in a few skilled players as well. I'm actually very musical, believe it or not. That's one thing. Well, I think people have kind of realized that with some of the videos that I try. I am very musical, though. I do have a passion for music. That's one of me. Doctor Who, and then what my other biggest passion is music. I love music. So yeah. So yeah, if you guys could just throw in the links there, that'll be absolutely. I see Lee is doing that already. That's why I just decided to talk while those links are going up. But let's see. Yeah, the links are in there. They're absolutely fantastic. And don't forget to check out Daniel's channel, Jack's channel, Draw and Jack Rabbit. The Space Book have also done a Justice for Noel Clarke stream as well. As I said, Gobby Guy on comics as well. Obviously, you can check out my streams that we did on the channel that feature John as well. And as I said, we will continue this until until this is resolved. Because, as I said, there are questions and our answers have to be given. And as I said, Noel will be taking some legal action himself. So there'll be plenty of more to report on about this this case. As I said, if you look at it, you will see it's a witch hunt, plain and simple. It needs to stop. We need to start questioning these things when these things happen. As I said, and I'll make very clear, if anybody is a victim of any of this sort of stuff and these heinous crimes, don't forget to go to the police. Go to the police would be my advice. Yeah, on comics is Lonnie, but you're back talking tomorrow. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, check out on comics channel. John will be there again. I think they're going to be talking other stuff. So check that out. Yeah. Okay, listen. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And by the way, look out for I Love Jodie Whittaker, the 2022 edition. So I've updated the original video with some new stuff. I've taken out some of the old stuff. I've picked a new tune. We got a lot of things going on with it. The last one got 900 views. Not obviously this one will get nowhere near that, but a lot of you enjoyed it the last time. Some people saying, well, why are you putting up again? Because I want a bit of a laugh, okay? And if you can't have a laugh, then you know what I mean. Just take a hike, man. You know what I mean? It's a bit of a laugh. It's not me attacking anybody. It's some images that were done by someone, decided to put it together in a video a couple of years ago, got 900 views and caused the storm. But because everything's quieting down now and stuff, I'm still waiting on part 3 to be done. So I said, you know what? We'll update part 1 because I wasn't really satisfied with part 1, if I'm honest, because of the song choice. But I think I've chosen the right song for this now, and I've added extra effects to it and all and stuff like that. So that's already uploaded and ready to go. So I'll probably throw that up in the next. I'll probably schedule that for the next half hour or so. So if you want to have a bit of a laugh, and all it is a laugh, I don't want anybody. Oh, he's picking on Jodie Whittaker again. I'm not picking on her. I don't give a crap what she does. She's gone from Doctor Who. Right, this was something that we did as a laugh, and it was funny. It was funny. Anyway, we'll leave it there. As I said, take care of yourselves. We'll see you. I will be back tomorrow. I'm gonna see if now. I'm gonna keep the momentum going now because we've kind of slacked off a little bit. Obviously, because of everything that's gone on behind the scenes and stuff that's happened around the world, and then people were on holidays and people taking breaks and stuff like that. And I only needed a bit of a break as well. There's nothing wrong with a bit of a break, but we're going to be back now, full momentum now. So I'll be back tomorrow, and we're going to be getting a bit of painting in as well. So when we're taking a rest from painting or we're finished for the day, I'll be streaming, and we will be talking about other stuff that's going on in the world of fandom and Doctor Who. Right, folks, have a good one. I will see you later. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night. Take care.